Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I'm reading with the intention of reading for the Virgo full moon, but it's given me quite an interesting message. So I'm going to kind of roll with it. I'll talk you through my process, where I got up to, the things I got from it. So we've got this card, you are good enough, interesting conclusions are within reach is the underlying card. So the full moon in Virgo, it is on the 18th of March. It is a full moon in Virgo. It's known as the worm moon. I don't know how it's been playing out collectively, but for me, it's been causing a lot of like fears and anxieties to come up, a lot of anxiousness, which is kind of typical of Virgo energy. So that's how it's been affecting me. I don't know how it's been affecting you guys. Where's my book gone? I was going to read to you what it meant, but my book seems to have disappeared, which is very handy. There it is. So you are good enough. If you've been anxious perhaps about whether you're good enough for something or not, if you needed a confidence boost, this could be why we're doing this reading today. So I don't know how it's going to affect everybody. It's either going to resonate or it's not. You know, obviously the moon is going to affect everybody on some level, but how it affects you individually is down to your individual birth chart. So collective message, it either works for you or it doesn't. Also, I do want to say that, you know, thank you to those of you who have been subscribing and liking the videos. I really appreciate it. Also, love seeing the comments down below the videos. So please do keep that up. It's free to subscribe and it's free to like the videos. So thank you for those of you who remember to do that. So you are good enough. When this card comes up, it's time for you to take stock of your situation. Where are you and where do you want to go? The new moon energy of new moon in Virgo, that's not what I'm meant to be reading. Sorry, guys. One day she'll be organized. It's time to be really honest with yourself and understand what's led you to ask your question. Have you been humble to the point of being self-effacing? Humility is good, but it can go too far. And drawing this card suggests you may be underrating yourself. You don't have to be flash, just quietly certain that you are good enough. At the other end of the scale, you also need to honestly answer this question. Have you been too picky? The full moon in Virgo card needs some truthful answers. Once you've given them, it should be easier to see how you got to where you are. Your next step should be more obvious to you. Pay attention to the details. Hard work brings results. Find a balance between the cosmic and the mundane in your daily life. Worrying too much will attract more things to worry about. What you think about, you bring about. So if you're very anxious, if you've got a lot of fear, if you're worrying, it's going to be a cycle for you. If that's what you're focusing on, the universe responds to that and gives you more of it. So it's difficult, especially if you are ruled by Virgo or have a lot of Virgo in your chart. It is a worrying sign, you know, the sign of the worrier. But just try and refocus onto, you know, if you're thinking ahead, if you're thinking, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? Just try and focus on your present moment. What can I do in this present moment? What is right in front of me? You know, maybe I can help future me. So do you know what, that pile of pots that's sat there, I'm going to go and wash them, and at least I don't have to worry about them tomorrow. You know, I'm going to go and just do something positive with your energy. Virgo is a very physiological sign. It's a sign to do with like medicine and health. So you may want to go out for a run or a walk, you know, whatever exercise that you're capable of. It really helps to uplift you to be out in nature, to be walking, to be physical. Obviously, being active releases endorphins. So I do know a lot of Virgos who get very, very grouchy if they haven't exercised for a while. So that's a top tip from Virgo energy to everybody. You know, what can you do in this present moment? How can you be fully present? What can you do that's positive in this fully present moment? So if you just sat around kind of doom scrolling, that's not going to be healthy for you, and it's not effective, right? It's not an effective use of your time. So this is a big lesson that Virgo can teach us, positive Virgo energy, right? Have you been overly critical? An apology may be in order. Interesting, the first card that came out was the Page of Cups. This can symbolize an apology. So an apology may be coming to you. You may need to apologize, especially if you've been a bit nagging, holding people to impossible standards. Again, that's kind of shadow Virgo energy. So I'm not saying you have been doing that. Of course, this could be something that's happened to you, but just ask yourself that question. Have I been overly critical of people? Have I held the way that Virgo shows love, especially if you've got like a Venus in Virgo placement. The way that Virgo shows love is to criticize, it is to nag, because it's a way of saying, I care about you enough to want what's best for you. So just be aware of that. It can, again, I've got a lot of Virgos in my life. It can really affect your confidence levels if somebody's constantly saying, you could do this better, you could do that better, have you thought about doing this? Because even though the intention's good, even though it's a pure, a very loving, it's the way that Virgos show love, to be like, let's try and make you the best you can possibly be because I want what's best for you. It's implying that you're not good enough. So just be really careful of how you're speaking to the people around you. Even if it's really good intentions, it could really be knocking their confidence at this time. And of course, Virgos are, you know, their own worst critics. So again, you don't have to be Virgo for this to resonate. It could be the effect that the Virgo full moon is having on you. You could be overly critical of people around you or overly critical of the self. And then with this strength card being the next card along, the strength card is about confidence and ego and things like this. So just be very, very careful about, are you holding yourself to impossibly high standards? Are you being too much of a perfectionist? Are people being like this with you? How is it affecting your confidence? How is it affecting the confidence of people around you? Is there a better way of helping people, a more supportive way, rather than constantly criticizing, which actually has the wrong effect? It's not going to get you the results you want. It's just going to make that person feel like they're never going to be good enough. So again, don't have to be Virgo. I'm not here to give Virgos a hard time. I'm just reading cards, okay? I love Virgos, by the way. I would probably be dead in a ditch if it wasn't for Virgos. So Virgos, you're awesome. Stop second guessing yourself. Again, confidence, strength card, confidence. Raise your karma by doing something good for somebody else. So again, if you're worrying, if you're stuck in your head, if you're doing that overthinking, anxious Virgo thing, you know, if you can't do something good for yourself, do something good for somebody else. Virgo is an energy of serving others in a very, very positive, nurturing way. So you know, again, maybe, is there anyone in your life who you know who you want to show some love to, who you want to give a little pick me up? Do you have to apologize to anyone? Is there a nice way, rather than just saying I'm sorry, is there something you can do that's very practical and grounded? Again, Virgo being an earth sign. So do you want to buy a gift for somebody? Do you want to go out and just, you know, pop round to your neighbour and say, I'm going to the shop, is there anything you want me to pick up? Have you got enough milk? You know, is there anything that you can do for somebody else to feel valued, to feel like you have a service to give to the world, you know? Kind of making me think of that song, Vienna Waits for You, which was, I believe, written about a trip to Vienna where there was this old woman who was like brushing the street, and she had a purpose, she had a reason, she felt like she was a member of society because she had a job to do. She was you know, she was improving her community because she was brushing the street. So even though she perhaps wasn't doing paid work because she was an elderly woman, a retired woman, she was still making things look nice for other people. So again, that need to be, that Virgo need to feel like you have value, you have something to contribute to the world, to society. So again, something to think about. It also may be a really good time to declutter your life, your home, your office, your car, whatever. Like sort out your health. Is there you know, can you have a better diet, a better health regime? Again, check with your doctor if, you know, before you make any drastic changes there. Do you need to do some self-care? Do you need to get out? Do you need to, you know, put your bare feet in grass and be, you know, get that earthed energy? So yeah, start living a healthier life and just try and focus on nurturing yourself and others and having a good time, you know. Try not to doom scroll and worry too much. So again, The Strength card is a card about your confidence. Are your confidences levels high or low right now? Is there anything you can do to boost your confidence levels? Are there any friends who need a confidence boost or who you can draw strength from? Because there's a companionship in this card. It's the woman and the lion. You know, they're side by side. They give each other confidence. So there could be something like that happening as well. You've also got a very Virgo card there peeking through, the Knight of Pentacles, which is like slow and steady wins the race. I want to put effort into things. I want to nurture things. I want to plant seeds and watch them grow. I'm also seeing the High Priestess, which I'm going to kind of come to here because this is a very spiritual card. And of course, the moon is kind of that High Priestess energy of the, you know, a goddess energy, the divine goddess, the sun representing divine masculine, the moon representing divine feminine. So it does talk about this kind of high priestess energy of intuition, of being able to know things without necessarily being told them, about being quite secretive and playing your cards close to your chest. So this is the moon is a time about knowing, and not necessarily saying everything that you know. The devil's creeping around there as well. So I want to say that that's something to do with the devil within, your own dark side, your own impulses that you perhaps have a little bit of guilt about. So the next card that we have is this card about going within. Who or what is triggering you? When things trigger us, when we see something in perhaps society or someone else's behavior, it's often, you know, what can we let slide and what really gets under our skin? If something's really getting under your skin, it's not really about that other person or that situation, although it feels like it at the time. It's triggering a response in you because there's something for you to go in and look at. So it could be comparing yourself to somebody else, again with all this stuff about confidence and perfectionism and self-criticism. If you see somebody who you think they're doing a better job of that than me, it could make you feel inferior. So it's not that person's behavior is wrong in any sort of way. It's that you are comparing yourself unfavorably to them. Perhaps it could be that somebody around you does criticize you, and you take it as a slight. You know, it really hurts you, perhaps, again with this thing about perhaps somebody needing to apologize. Why does it hurt you so much? You know, if you kind of like ask the questions why and you dig a little bit deeper, you know, why does it matter what that person says to you or what that person thinks of you? You know, maybe that's their own shadow work, their own triggers that are making them say that thing or act a certain way. Can you release that? You know, especially with the moon cycle, I don't want to generalize, you know, women are very different, you know, one woman's experience is going to be different from the next, but traditionally speaking and, you know, scientifically speaking, the way the moon has an effect on the ocean tides, and the moon also has an effect or a relationship or a metaphor of being connected to a female menstrual cycle is a cycle of the moon is roughly the same length as a female menstrual cycle. So the moon can often symbolize things like pregnancy and things like this. And again, this is why it's associated with women and fertility and all these kind of lovely things. So there could be something to do with your mood cycles. You know, do you feel a little bit more crazy when it's the full moon? Do you feel a little bit more intuitive when it's the full moon? Do you feel like, you know, how is your mood affected, not just by the moon, but also by your own cycles, if you identify as, you know, female and, you know, you have those menstrual cycles. So there could be something where I know that I get, you know, a little bit more snappy with people, a little bit more impatient with people when I'm due on. And sometimes I do have to say, look, I'm really sorry. That wasn't really about you. It's me, you know, it's coming from, you know, I'm due on and I'm sorry, you know. I do also get a little bit paranoid about that time. So, you know, these are all questions that we can ask ourselves and look within. You know, it's, you know, people can be really rude sometimes, and people can be rude directly to your face. And it may not even be about you. It may be something that they're seeing in you that's triggering them to, I don't know, try and knock you down or knock your confidence because perhaps they're not confident themselves. Or, you know, a lot of the time, 99% of the time, it's not even about you. It's not even like, you know, even though it feels targeted, normally it's something about that person themselves. And when you start to see yourself as being very separate from other people, and when you look in the mirror and like what you see or accept yourself for who you are, it's much harder for those other people to and their behavior to trigger you. So that's something we can work on as an ongoing process, right? Now, something else I want to talk about is how the full moon in Virgo does make us really quite anxious and but very, very grounded. So a lot of the time the full moon in Virgo can be a reality check, you know, taking off those rose tinted glasses and really seeing things for how they really are. Now, I'm a Libra. I'm very much let's I've been getting this thing through in my readings about almost like an overlay, like overlaying a pretty picture over the reality of a situation, you know, making lemonade out of lemons, but at the end of the day, they're still giving you lemons. So it's a bit of a wake up call, especially if you're Libra. I kind of feel like Libra's hit hard by this. Libra and Pisces being these very, very, and I want to say Sagittarius as well, being very optimistic signs, painting these pretty pictures, you know, these kind of glass half full type fantasies over situations that might not be that great, and then having that kind of reality check of the veil's been taken off my eyes and I'm seeing something clearly, and actually this situation's a little bit shit. So some of you may have had quite a reality check, quite a wake-up call. You know, if you've been fantasizing about a situation, not fantasizing, but telling yourself, painting yourself a rosy tinted picture, or kind of lying to yourself about a situation, you know, you could be dealing with the reality of it. I want to say there's definitely something coming through with Libra energy, because I watched another reader called Awakening to Spirit, and she had this thing about, I mean, go and watch her reading. I don't want to spoil it, but she also had a similar message about, it's like, put the glasses back on, put the rose tinted glasses back on, Libra. Like, yes, you've had the reality check. Yes, you recognize now that perhaps there's some things that you need to do, the steps you need to take here. But at the same time, it's really important for definitely some signs to hold on to hope, to hold on to the fantasy. Excuse me a second. Okay, so sorry, it may be a bit noisy. I'm doing this a little bit later in the day than usual, and my son's home from school, my daughter's home from school, my son's got a friend around, so there may be a little bit more noise as well, like in the street and things as well. It's just that time of day when people are coming and going a lot. So okay, so are you being triggered? What is being reflected back at you? Are you seeing something in other people? Are you criticizing others because of something you've seen in yourself, perhaps? It could be to do with your independence, with the Nine of Earth being here. Again, she's kind of wearing a mask in this image. I'm really being drawn to this flower that she's holding on to. I've seen a lot of yellow flowers today. I was kind of out for a walk and I was seeing like daffodils and dandelions. So the letter D could be significant. I think this is more of a buttercup, if I can just get my camera to focus on that. I'm also noticing this kind of like sparkly energy coming off it, or like pollen, or my left ear keeps ringing as well. I don't know if that's significant to anyone. This kind of pollen, obviously it's spring, there's a lot of pollen in the air. I'm definitely a bit more sniffly. I'm just being drawn to like yellow flowers, which could be significant for somebody. So yeah, I'm not really getting a lot more off that Nine of Earth, but it could just be here because there's something visually there that someone else wants to see. So, yeah, this thing about a fantasy, it's like there's an importance to that. So perhaps you have people around you who kind of, perhaps you are a bit of a daydreamer, or you have been in your head a little bit. You have been wearing those rose tinted glasses. This is kind of a Pisces card again, just to kind of say. So, but the message of this card is like, believe in the fantasies, have the dreams, have the hope, because, you know, if we're always living in the moment and dealing with like the tangible reality of things, like the practical things that we have to deal with in the moment, we're not actually envisioning a better future for ourselves. So it's actually kind of quite a reactive energy to be like, what do I have to do now? I have to make dinner, I have to do laundry. So it's not giving you scope to fantasize. And when we fantasize, we visualize a better future for ourselves. So the importance of the Page of Cups leading this reading is saying, saying, dare to dream, especially with the moon energy. The moon can represent like fantasy and illusion and being in that dream space. There's, you know, there's a reason that we are able to do that, and it is to envision where we want to go, where do we want to direct our future. So yeah, it's great to be grounded and practical and deal with the tangible reality of things, but you also need to have dreams and the scope for improving your situation perhaps. So I am just going to read that card there for you if I can find my booklet, which I seem to be throwing all over the place and not doing myself any favors with. Here we go. So the Page of Cups. The lovely thing about this Page of Cups, and I'm really starting to like this card, I'm seeing the Page of Cups everywhere, by the way, in other people's readings. It keeps on coming out. It keeps on coming out in my readings. The strong Page of Cups energy at the moment, collectively. It also talks to me about the purity of a wish, the purity of an intention. So the lovely thing about this card, specifically in the Tarot de la Nuit deck, is that she kind of looks like a siren at first guess. I always think she kind of looks like Alicia Silverstone in the film The Crush, if you know that reference. And she's actually got these skulls here. But there's something about being judged wrongly, like perhaps seeing somebody as a bit of a siren, but there's a misunderstanding of that energy. So let me just read the card. From an ocean of wonders. There could also be something about oceans and marine biology, which again I'll come to in a moment. I am a nocturnal mermaid. You may wonder if I'm real. I am. I'm as real as the bursting creative energy inside you. Okay, this inside you business is really important. I spring out of the water to bring you good news. This is a time of wonders for you. Expect the unexpected. Let your intuition and your artistic gifts rule. The skulls around me are not men I've led to my death by my singing. They represent the symbolic death of those who do not listen to their hearts, those who stopped dreaming. Okay, so this thing about going within, keeping the dream alive, listening to your heart, listening to, you know, your higher self or the voice within, especially with it being followed by this mirror energy, right? I want you to be romantic, youthful, inspired, and free, just as I am. Dream a magic dream and make it happen. Dare to dream, dare to love, dare to swim with me in the flow of hope and inspiration. Only there the treasures of bliss can be found. Bright imagination, creativity, romantic feelings, wonderness of the heart. My heart pulled as well while I was reading that. So, this gorgeous Piscean energy coming through of being childlike, like the childlike dreamer, of being youthful and being very, very fun. You know, that child inside all of us, that the part of us that believes in fairy tales or, you know, fantasy or sci-fi or, you know, stories. I'm hearing comic book stories for some of you, like you know, like Garfield. So like the part of you that believes in the imaginary, the fantasy, the unreal, you know, the child within, keep it alive. It's important. It's an important part of the self. You shouldn't put away childish things and be too pragmatic, because you know, that's almost like your spirit dying, your soul dying. So you want to find a nice balance. So I was getting the song Dear Jessie. When I was reading that card, I was getting a song by Madonna, Dear Jessie, hear the music in the love parade. In the land of, if the land, hang on, I'm speaking too fast. If the land of make-believe is inside your heart, it will never leave. There's a golden gate where the fairies all wait and dancing moons for you. So close your eyes and you'll be there, where the mermaids sing as they comb their hair like a fountain of gold. You can never grow old, where dreams are made. Your love parade. So Dear Jessie by Madonna. And then very quickly after, I got a song that I channeled. It was one of these that wake me up in the middle of the night, and I've got a song blasting in my head. And I hadn't heard it for years. And it came out for somebody's reading, but I can't quite remember who. But it was Jessie paints a picture of where we're going to be. Jessie paint a picture of how it's going to be. A little house by the sea. So I've got the name Jessie twice. So keep that in mind, the name Jessie twice. I'm going to kind of circle back to that in a second. So then some of the underlying I've got here, just to kind of run through it. I'm not seeing a huge amount up here. It seems to be more this that I want to talk about. But we have energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. Again, it's like, where do you go when you sleep? Where do you go when you dream? What are your dreams about? Eight of fire can be like communication, or yeah, like rapid action, rapid communication. It's kind of when your phone pings a lot. But it was talking to me about a curtain that had been drawn, like a veil that had been drawn for somebody, transformation underneath that, again with this kind of like the sparkly stuff in her hands there, kind of coming through again. Lineage of the rose, moved by the goddess, here for this, soul call and gather. So you may be, I don't know, some of you could be astrally projecting or going to places in your dreams. Really interesting, and I've only just remembered this now. Last night I had this dream where I was in a really busy place. It was almost like a big busy shopping center, or like a conference center or something like this. It was, you know, one of these places, it's got multiple levels, there was escalators, and it was packed, it was crowded. There was like NFL football players or basketball players or something there as well, who were kind of off in the distance, but with that specific, very specific detail that could be some kind of signifier for somebody. So maybe you are going to some kind of like soul conference in your sleep, perhaps. I mean, it was just a dream to me, but what's that? You can sell any dream to me. But I don't know, I remembered it then, so it could be significant to this reading for as a message for somebody. So then you have these two cards here, which are Sophia, Divine Plan, Wisdom, Intelligence Within, and Destiny, and the Holy Grail. Stop the endless searching in a quest. So it's like if anyone's been searching for something outside themselves, it's like the answers are within you. This is very much a message I was getting kind of throughout the readings this week, where I kept getting this visual of when I was a teenager, me and my best friend walking through this abandoned train tunnel, and it was like a big tunnel with a curve in the middle. So as you get to the middle, the light behind you fades, and as you go around the curve, you can't see the light behind you or the light in front of you. So there's a few steps where it's just complete pitch darkness, and it takes a lot of bravery to walk into that darkness and to keep walking one foot in front of the other until, you know, you get around the curve and see the light at the end of the tunnel. And there's this thing as well about the companion or the friend being at your side. So it could be talking about like a dark tunnel, of a dark phase of your life, dark night of the soul, depression, fear, anxiety, not knowing which direction to take, feeling blindfolded, feeling in the dark. I am getting something about not being able to see or being blindfolded, kind of that Marco Polo energy of like having to have a friend tell you, you know, 2 steps forward, turn 90 degrees to the right, 5 steps forward. So this kind of like teamwork thing as well has been coming through. I'm really getting something strongly, and I can't wait to tell you kind of where this led me to. This kind of metaphor has been coming out in multiple readings this week, and I was getting a message. Let me just kind of find my notes. What have I done with my notes? I was kind of getting this message this morning, which I wanted to do this reading earlier on, but I kind of went out for a walk with my daughter. I was like, right, I need to put myself in the position of the person who's in the middle of that cave right now. So and I was asking for songs from Spotify, and I was really getting this kind of thing about I don't know, the song that randomized was Don't Cry by Daisy Gray, which is that Big Girls Don't Cry, and then it came through with like because I was trying to lead somebody out of this cave, and it came through like this flooded, like the tunnel was flooded, but at the same time it was like flooding the tunnel allowed you to float to the surface. You know, it's like if you're too scared to move, like flooding the tunnel is gonna kind of naturally, like the natural buoyancy of the body was going to like raise this person out of the tunnel back towards the light. And then it came through with Fix You by the Fearless Soul version, not the Coldplay version, but it's like the cover by Fearless Soul. Really nice song. So yeah, it's like, I will try to fix you when everything goes wrong. So it could be that the person in the tunnel is like, everything's gone wrong, all my plans have failed, I'm in this really dark point in my life. But there was something coming through with like, it's just this energy, it's this other energy, and it could be like a spirit guide or an angel or an ancestor kind of sweeping you up, and kind of like, it's like, go with the flow, allow yourself to be swept along this tunnel. It's going to get brighter. It's like you're already at the lowest point, right? You're already at the darkest part. So if you're already at rock bottom or you're already in the darkest part, then why not take a few steps forward and see where that leads you? Even if you don't know which direction to go. They're showing me someone blindfolded and me spun around, which is interesting because it's coming through with the story of Helen of Troy. That actually happened to her. I don't know how many people know that. She wanted to marry Menelaus. She was the person that, he was the person that she had her eyes on, but she had a lot of suitors, and Odysseus said, to make it fair, let's blindfold her, spin her around, and whoever she walks forward and touches. Funny, I had to spin the bottle the other day as well. Whoever she walks forward and touches, that's who she marries. But she wanted to marry Menelaus, so she prayed to Aphrodite, Venus, that she would pick him. So Aphrodite adjusted her blindfold so that she could actually see a little bit. Helen could see just enough, so when she was spun around, she actually purposefully picked out Menelaus. So again, you can talk about what happened with Paris and Troy as a different story, but I don't know why that came through. It's there. I was also getting When You Walk Through the Storm, the Lana Del Rey version. I was getting The Voice Within by Christina Aguilera. Again, this thing about going within, like the blueprint is inside you. You are connected to the universe. You have all the answers within. So if you feel lost, if you feel anxious, if you feel like you're succumbing to that fear energy where it's like, I don't know what to do, it's like you have the answer, or you have that voice that you can trust within you. It's like you are connected to the universe, the divine plan, the your spirit guides, your ancestors, your angels. Like, they're all there, and you just have to look for that light within yourself. It's like you have the answers within you. So what else as well? Walking through the tunnel, one step in front of the other, losing sight of the light and becoming disorientated, afraid to reach out. So my thing, I used to get this cave analogy where you reach out and you feel the wall and you walk out because you've got your hand on the wall, right? But this came through with like this. I'm looking at a snake as well as I say this on some box art. It's like I'm scared to reach out because what if I touch a snake? So it's like this moment of like petrification, or complete fear, where you're scared to move because you don't know what's in the darkness around you. So when you're in those moments, when you're afraid to reach out, and this could also be a metaphor of like afraid to reach out to other people, afraid to reach out to friends, I don't know who I can trust. One of those really horrible dark moments in your life. It's like the answer is within. So when you can't reach out, go within, do that meditation, trust the voice within. Meditate, breathe, search within until you find the guiding light. Guardian energy, the word guardian and go within. I'll kind of show you my notes. I've kind of underlined those, go within and guardian, which is so interesting that when I pulled cards, again, this is genuinely how it came out. So I pulled cards hours later. I got stuck at this point. Intelligence within, stop the endless searching, inner quest. So this message about the guardian within, right, the strength within, is really coming through really strongly, not just intuitively, but actually in the cards as well. This guardian energy, wrapping a protective blanket around you, I wrote. Allow yourself to cry. You are in the darkest part. Allow yourself to cry. And it's like the water, the emotions are what are going to lift you back up to the surface, back up to the light. So this idea of don't cry, big girls don't cry. Drop that, your guardians, the voice within is trying to get you to cry. It's cathartic, it's release. There's human emotions to be explored in that. We are humans, we're not robots. We're meant to feel a lot of things. Some of those things we're told are bad, like, you shouldn't cry, big girls don't cry, put what's wrong with you, put a smile on your face, cheer up, it might never happen. All these kind of things that we're told. Crying is bad, feeling fear is bad. We're told that negative, like, emotions are bad or negative. Yeah, it sucks, right? It sucks to be sad, it sucks to be afraid, but it's human. So there's something in that where it's like, lean into it, feel it, go through it, allow yourself to feel the fear that, don't try and cork it and squash it down and pretend it's not there. You have to feel it, because the catharsis of feeling it. Again, I'm not a psychologist. If you're going through something where it's like severe mental health issues, please do speak to a doctor. Get that professional help. But at the same time, don't feel like you have to bottle anything up or like I want to say, if you're resisting feeling something, when you are safe to do so, if it suits you, especially if you are seeing a doctor or you're experiencing mental health issues, or, you know, I am a tarot reader. I'm just telling you the message that I'm getting. It's like that experience of feeling it. So it might be like even like writing poetry about it, or listening to music that gets that out of you. Reading a book that makes you cry. It's like whatever you need to do to get those emotions out, to feel them, like fully feel them, and then like come out the other side of it. It's like, do it, right? Allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to feel everything that wants to come out. I want to say, within reason, and with, you know, if you've got therapists or doctors, or you need one, trust their advice. They've got a, you know, they've got the qualification to be able to advise people with mental health issues. My qualification is humanities. So my qualification is, I feel something, therefore I'm going to tell a story about it. So this person felt something, and therefore they told a story about it. So I'm coming at it from a very different angle, right? But a lot of the most brilliant creative works of art come from feelings. It's like we feel so that we can be creative. We feel so that we can tell stories. We feel so that we can experience the multifaceted, brilliant range of emotions that we're supposed to feel as humans here on earth. We shouldn't be scared of that. We shouldn't feel like that's something we should resist or bottle up or say is wrong. Obviously, if it's ongoing, if it's severe, get a doctor or professional, you know, mental health expert to help you with that. So allow yourself to cry. You are in the deepest part, and there is this guardian energy, this voice within, leading you through it. Now I'm going to say something, a big trigger warning for what I'm about to say next. I don't understand why this is the message, but maybe somebody out there will understand it. I'm going to try and interpret it, but I want to say that this could be about domestic violence, and if you are in a situation where you're experiencing domestic violence, get out of there, right? Whatever you need to do to get out of there, you shouldn't be in that situation. You don't deserve it, okay? So when I said this person, this energy, where it's like in the darkest part, in the tunnel, afraid of reaching out, afraid of the snakes around them, afraid of, you know, not knowing which way to move, being disorientated, being in that darkest part. What's the advice for them? How do I get them to move? And they gave me Kiss with a Fist by Florence and the Machine. A kiss with a fist is better than none. You hit me once, I hit you back. You gave a kick, I gave a smack. You smashed a plate over my head, and I set fire to the bed. So I am not saying that this is advice. I do not agree with violence or toxic relationships in that way. What I do think it could be saying is, sometimes we can feel really sorry for ourselves, and you know, sometimes we can have those people in our lives that, in a non-toxic way, so this is my not, take it as it resonates for you, and do not take it as advice, because that's not good. But sometimes we need the competitiveness, right? Sometimes we need to get out of Cups energy and back into Wands energy, which is like, I'm going to be a fighter. I'm going to pick myself up, dust myself off, and fight, which kind of came through for Capricorn in yesterday's reading. You hit me once, I hit you back. So it's like, not literally. I am, again, huge disclaimer, I disagree with violence. I'm a non-violent person, but it could be like a game, like they're telling me, like, tag, you know, like the competitiveness of childhood games where it's like, tag, you're it. So it could be that there's somebody around you who brings out that healthy competition, especially with like the strength card being here, but take it as it resonates. That was the song that they gave me to get somebody back up onto the feet and out of the tunnel. So take it as you will. Okay. Now, they were the morning messages. Now, I'm going to go back to this point, because I got to this point in the reading where it's telling me, go within, go within. The answers are within. The blueprint is within. Everything you need is within you. I actually tried to pull some cards from this deck. Nothing would come out. Actually, what was happening was like half the deck was coming out like that. And I was like, I can't take that. So I kept on putting it back in. Half the deck would come out. It was like, this is not the deck you should be using. You know, you're using the wrong deck. So then I was like, right, let's give the fairies a try. And I was trying to like flick through the fairy deck. Nothing would come out. Absolute silence. So it's very clear. It's like, if you're relying too heavily on tarot card readers, if you are, you know, watching reading after reading after reading, or looking for signs, looking for messages, that's not what you should be doing. The answers are within you. You're looking for answers outside of you, in other people perhaps. The answers are within, right? You have everything you need with that voice within. Very much getting something as well about being blindfolded or not being able to see, and there being a presence behind you and to the right. It's like, again, it's like a hug from behind. It's almost like the way it was coming through for me in this visual that I was getting when I was meditating was like I was actually looking into a pane of glass. So, you know, like if you're in like a skyscraper or an office or something, you're like looking like a dark room at night. So you're looking out at the city lights, and it's like a hug from behind, and being able to see your own reflection in the glass, but not being able to see the reflection of the person hugging you. So I don't know what that is, but I'm going to throw that out there. That's what I was getting. So it's like a secret supportive guardian is the way it's coming through, like a guardian angel. You know, you can't see it, but you know it's there. I was kind of getting Cupid and Psyche when I actually did start to meditate and ask for answers within. I was getting Cupid and Psyche. So if you know that story, run with it. So going back to oh, and then I channeled You Saw the Whole of the Moon by the Water Boys, and then I saw, again, looking for the answers within. What am I supposed to say at this point in the reading? The answers are within me, so I went within. Whatever you want to do, if you want to pause the reading now and see what you get, absolutely, I really strongly encourage you to do that. Just breathe for a few minutes, try and clear your mind, see what you get. But what I got was the whole of the moon. You saw the whole of the moon, and then I literally saw the moon's surface. It looked to me like the moon's surface. It's that kind of like deserty, sandy, bumpy kind of surface. And then I got NASA. So I was like, right, okay, I'll get my phone, I'll kind of Google images of the moon. But then my brain went back to Jessie. And I was like, I wonder if there's any astronauts called Jessie. And there's Jessica Meir and Jessica Watkins. Jessica Meir kind of was more about the moon. She was actually an oceanographer or a marine biologist or something, again going back to the ocean. And Jessica Watkins was more about Mars and missions around Mars. But again, the moon and Mars have this like dry kind of pockmarked surface. And then when I was reading about Jessica Meir, she actually did a training exercise called ESA or ESSA Caves, and it says it's a training course, train in a space analog cave environment. So I believe that they actually go into cave environments on Earth and do these kind of almost like team building exercises or missions in this training environment. And it says that this helps with communication, decision making, problem solving, leadership, and team dynamics. So I was getting this thing about these astronauts called Jessie. I don't know, the name Jessie seems really relevant. Doing this team building exercise in a cave environment, and I thought it was talking about as well about, if you go and Google it, you can look at the details of it, and it does talk about getting used to being in a dark environment where all you have is artificial light. So something about that coming through again, because it kind of like led me back around to it. And then I got like a space simulator or VR. So I don't know if this is something about like maybe like a team building exercise that's like a VR exercise where you're in some kind of cave system. And again, with that Marco Polo, right, it's like you know, that the thing I was talking about being blindfolded and having to take so many steps forward, and then, you know, the person says turn to your right, you know, take a step forward, turn to your left, turn a little bit more to your left. You know, it's that kind of like collaboration with others, team building, leadership qualities, communication, all those kind of things that I've been channeling seem to be represented by that ESA Caves NASA training thing. So again, I don't fully understand what it is, but that is what I have. So I don't know, do I leave it there? Do we get something else? Let's just see if anything wants to come out of this as advice, if anyone's resonating with this reading. No, it's not. Oh, no, again, look, it's just spitting loads out at me. But you've got the blue flame, spontaneous awakening. So you've got awakening twice now. Integration time. The courage peony. Multifaceted, that's Libra for me. The multifacetedness of Libra. Unique nature, let yourself be seen. Lifting the veil, question everything. Anything unaligned must go. Again, Libra and Aquarius kind of got that through this week. So I want to get you a song. Do I have my phone though? Yeah, I didn't know which phone I was going to use to record, so kind of stuff everywhere. So, can I get a song, please, for... Can I get a song, please, for this reading? So anyone who's resonating with this reading, can I get advice or what they need to hear? A song for this reading, please, at this point. You've got Art Deco by Lana Del Rey. Club queen on the downtown scene, prowling around at night. You're not mean, you just want to be seen, want to be wild. A little party never hurt no one, and that's why it's all right. You want in, but you just can't win, so you hang in the lights. You're so Art Deco, out on the floor, shining something metal cold and unsure. Baby, you're so ghetto. So I don't know, it may make sense to somebody, it may not. Let's just get one more song, please. One more song for this reading. One more song for this reading. What do people need to hear? What do people need to hear, please? What do people need to hear? What's the best message that can come through at this point? Last Goodbye by Jeff Buckley. That's the second time I've heard that today. This is our last goodbye. I hate to feel the love between us die, but it's over. Just hear this and then I'll go. You gave me more to live for, more than you'll ever know. This is our last embrace. Must I dream and always see your face? Interesting, because I was getting this thing about dreaming and not seeing the face. Why can't we overcome this wall? Baby, my left ear's ringing again. Baby, maybe it's just that I didn't know you at all. Kiss me, please kiss me, out of desire, not consolation. Oh, you know it makes me so angry, because I know that in time I'll only make you cry. This is our last goodbye. So I don't know. Take it as you will. Leave it if it doesn't resonate. Hopefully somebody will have got something out of this reading. It does seem to be a strong message trying to come through that I'm not fully understanding myself, but it's what I'm getting, so there it is. All right, guys, do take care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Bye, friends. Hey guys, I just turned my computer on because I'm going to upload the video, and I had to show you. It's so funny when this happens. Is this seem real? Could it be an optical illusion, or maybe a bit of photographic trickery? So yeah, I don't know. It's a cave, which it's that window, you know, the Windows load screen. It's just so strange that it would be a cave. So, all right, I don't know, watch out for signs and symbols. Take care of yourselves. Bye, friends.